Hi, and thank you for clicking on my video. I am Leah CL Moses, and today we just want to have, a normal conversation and a little highlight as to the essential jobs and businesses that remain even during a pandemic versus, what became obsolete almost in the wink of an eye, in less than a week, in 2 weeks in some cases, in a few days in some cases around the world. Certain jobs and certain businesses just had to come to a grinding halt, right? And no activity couldn't be done again due to the pandemic. However, let's take a look at the traditional job scale, the traditional jobs that remain, as we can see. Our sanitation workers, our garbage collectors, right, as we call them here locally, essential workers, our nurses, our doctors, everybody in the healthcare system, our lab techs, you name it, right? Essential workers, even our vets, right? Essential. Anything to do with health has remained essential. What else have we seen as being essential still? Of course, the financial institutions, anything that deals with your money, right, is essential, of course, because money makes the world go around, as we know, right? So the financial services remained quite relevant. What else do we have in mind in terms of, the other jobs that remain relevant to this day? Our security services, so police officers, soldiers, coast guard, cadets, you name it, right? Air Force, they would have remained relevant. So national security, health, finances, of course we cannot forget logistics. So businesses and companies that deal in transportation of goods, services, and or people, or any kind of logistics has remained relevant. Okay, in terms of relevance as well, locally in Trinidad and Tobago, we still have the hardwares being open, variety stores, the corner shop, the grocery, of course, because food is very essential. As we learned, a lot of us would have learned somewhere or the other during our schooling, food security is national security. So businesses that pertains to the procurement of raw materials to cook or your snacks and whatnot, they have remained open. Of course, in Trinidad and Tobago, there was an extension of the businesses that had to stop, unfortunately, which was the restaurants, right? However, internationally, there's still the availability of people being able to make orders, whether through Uber Eats or many of the other various services that exist to bring food to you, because that is one of the important things that you would have during such a time as a pandemic. You cannot go without food. You cannot do without your health services. If people get sick, you need to have those people on board and working around the clock for us. We cannot do without security, of course, as many businesses are closed. Security has to be ramped up as people are not occupying certain buildings and so on anymore. In terms of the essential services as well, we also have our in local Trinidad terms, we have the construction folks who are dealing with health institutions, so making sure that the hospitals up to speed, and they have the infrastructure is solid, it's everything is well placed, well built, for whether it be accommodation of any new cases, etc. Right? So we see what has happened. Now let's take a look at some businesses, some entrepreneurial ventures or some businesses that unfortunately had to come to that grinding halt. Some business places that had to close up. So I already mentioned we unfortunately had to have our food places closed and restaurants due to trying to be very strict in terms of our social distancing. All right, but usually our food deliveries would have been a definite go ahead, and that's happening around the world. You must have the ability to eat. Businesses that would have experienced major loss when the borders became closed, locked, whatever you want to call it, of course, you put an immediate dent in courier services. So companies that would have been procuring goods, or individuals through skyboxes procuring things from the wider world, you had to hold off. In some cases, those who were still getting their products in Trinidad and Tobago, we experienced an increase in clearance cost of these goods due to the pandemic. As a matter of fact, the largest retailer in the world, Amazon, actually had to halt the dispatching or the receiving of non-essential goods, right? So anything that wasn't pertaining to your medicines or food had to stop, right? And they were categorized as non-essential. So as I was speaking to some colleagues and friends and saying, if you were in the clothing business, shoes, handbags, you name it, accessories, you obviously would have had to take a immediate halt in your business, right? Another one of the businesses that I forgot to mention in terms of essential would be all those service providers, such as mechanics and electricians and technicians and people who would be required to be on standby to make sure there's the smooth running of the vehicles that are attached or used by essential people and essential businesses. So these were also important, right? So in terms of the businesses, clothing, selling clothes, having your Shopify store selling, non-essential items, you would have definitely suffered a loss and continue to suffer a loss as long as this place is in quarantine, the world is under quarantine, under a global pandemic, right? So we see that clothing sales and distribution definitely had to stop. Well, in our case, our restaurant stopped due to social distancing, right? We also had, movie complexes, right? Like in our case, we had Movie Town, Cinemas 8, South Park, C3. These places had to come to an immediate close, due to a business like this, because in a time like this, you definitely cannot afford to have people go out to cinema and be in such an enclosed space in close proximity to other people, right? That is a good recipe to having this coronavirus spread, to large amounts of people, thereby putting strain and pressure on our health system. So definitely movie theaters, malls had to stop. Even our spa businesses, grooming services had to come to a pause, as we see all over social media right now. A lot of people we have the guys who are growing out their beards. We have people we never saw with much hair on their head now have a lot of hair. We're realizing some grays in between, and some popular social media personalities or celebrities around the world, right? Due to the fact that you can't go to your barber, you cannot go to your hairdresser, you can't get your nails done right now. So these businesses would have definitely taken a hit, right? But instead of only focusing on the businesses that took a hit, how about we spend the next couple minutes just discussing the businesses that continue to thrive, right? Number one business that continues to thrive even though we're experiencing a global pandemic: Instagram business, sales and service, right? So we have a lot of people using their Instagram influence and followers to sell and market essential products, or even as a better thing, digital products online. So such as web hosting, or they sell courses and programs, and so they can still function because it's just basically the click of a button and you make your purchase, the seller gets their commission, and business continues. The second business that continues to function as well, or the second platform that continues to allow entrepreneurs or online business people to function, is Facebook, right? So you see in the trend, online business continues to function, especially if you're selling something digital, whether it be a course, an ebook, or some type of software as a service, SaaS, right? Software as a service. These businesses continue. So people who would be, selling stuff off of ClickBank, or you promote ClickFunnels or Builderall or Kartra, you still have business running. In addition to that, we have a lot of network marketing companies that continue as well to thrive even in a pandemic. So we have those who sell or promote rather credit repair, right? We don't have that going on in that business model in Trinidad and Tobago. However, in the wider world, in the US, we have a lot of network marketing companies, multi-level marketing companies that are, sharing credit repair. And so that is also a digital, transaction. It's something that can be strictly done online without the physical product in hand. So that's still thriving. We also have consulting. There are many apps in which people who have an expertise in an area can simply set up their app, like for example teachable.com, right? There's a way you can create your courses, and you could just link to your PayPal, have people purchase into your course through Teachable, and then they send your money to PayPal, right? Totally digital. You create a video just as this one, indicating, you can break it down into modules and so on, and have a nice course at a reasonable price. And of course, Teachable could facilitate you getting paid online, right? Of course, in Trinidad and Tobago, we have PayPal being able to send to your credit Visa cards, right? So that is beneficial, but to the wider world who can easily, who is regulated to receive PayPal payments to their bank accounts, it's easy business. It's futuristic business, right, taking place right now without any interruptions. A lot of people online, who I follow, who sell courses and so on, they have not had any adverse effects on their business due to the COVID-19 pandemic which we are under, right? In terms of business as well, we have the opportunity which I have been sharing, CashFX, which is purely online business, dealing in the forex industry, having professionals trade for you. Again, this doesn't involve any physical product that has to come through any courier. It's basically the transferring or the redirecting of funds. You can simply click a button, send funds from one account to a next account, have your Bitcoin enter the system. The company begins to trade for you. You monitor your money daily, and you could withdraw that money every Saturday. Totally digital business in which the COVID-19 pandemic does not bug, does not halt, does not interrupt or disrupt, right? It's important to note, this COVID-19 came suddenly, to a lot of places who, we heard about it where it started and so on, and a lot of places didn't really take it on, didn't really think it would come and hit home, as we say, but it did. And I remember a lot of online content creators right here on YouTube used to say, what are the businesses that robots will eventually take over? But as we can see, we don't even have to wait until robots or AI technology fully replaces a lot of things. A simple pandemic could teach you the things that both the robots or any kind of health disaster could wipe out, the jobs that could wipe out, because we know as this continues to extend, the amount of jobs that will become obsolete, the amount of people that will not be able to be reinstated in their jobs. A lot of companies are closing, a lot of retail outlets right now also, they are closing, right? Because they cannot withstand this. As for Trinidad and Tobago, we are now realizing that in terms of school education, that we need to really give a lot of time and attention to online studies, right? So that when something like this happens, you can have an option in which the children could still get their education. And thus far, there are several bodies that have been doing an excellent job on TV and otherwise in terms of still having, the syllabus taught to these students, right? So as we can see, there are several businesses that can still run. And last but not least, how could I forget? YouTube business. YouTube is a business as well. Content creation is a business. How is it a business? When you produce content on YouTube, YouTube allows after a certain time, which is 1,000 subscribers and a combination of 4,000 watch hours, which is equivalent to 280,000 minutes of watch time on your channel in total within a 12-month period. Once you meet these parameters, you can set up your AdSense account to your YouTube channel and allow YouTube to place ads within at the start or at the end of your videos, or even those little banner ads. Sometimes you go on a video and you see the little banner ad below the video, right? These are things that companies put there. They bid on ads on your channel or on your video based on your audience and so on, and you get paid, right? It also works in the Caribbean. It definitely works in Trinidad and Tobago. We have several people who are currently monetized on YouTube, and so the YouTube actually accepts Trinidad bank information so that you can get your money from YouTube to your local bank account. Of course, we also have a YouTube Creators of Trinidad and Tobago Facebook group, so you could probably, if you are a content creator and you stumble upon this, you could also join the group and probably meet some fellow content creators out there. So this was a brief video. Of course, it's not extensive. I would love to hear from you in the comments below as to some of the relevant businesses that still exist. If I missed anything, please forgive me, but I would like to hear from you in the comments. If you like this video, please thumbs up and share it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The red subscribe button is right there. And one important thing is not just about subscribing, but please join the notification gang, the notification squad, because when I produce new content, you want to be first to see. Sometimes YouTube doesn't deliver new videos even though you have subscribed. So click on the bell and the bell will turn on the notifications for when I produce new content similar or different than this one. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate you. Follow me on all my social medias at Leah CL Moses. Take care till next time.